All right, we are back here with Miguel for another session. Miguel, how have you been?
I feel pretty good. Pretty good. How have you been?
Good, good. What do you think about all that ice we got there on
Man,
Wednesday? It lasted through the weekend.
that ice was awful. I was up on campus, had to drive all the way home. It was like a 20-30 minute drive through it. Man,
When it was happening on Wednesday?
mhm,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, okay.
pretty
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, it just blew my mind. I walked outside and it was
Mhm,
raining, but it was just sleet. So it was just like ice pellets. It wasn't like like slow snow coming down. It was just straight ice
mhm.
pellets coming down hard. And so not really that inviting to want to go
No,
go out and play in. It's not like like I said, it's not
yeah.
like snow where you want to go out and have fun. It's like
Mhm,
everything's just frozen. So you're kind of trapped a little bit inside. So,
mhm,
but
bad.
um
Mhm.
I guess you ready to get back to a normal week, or do you wish it was still around? You've been liking the extended.
I'm ready. I've been ready to go back.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. Well, good deal, man. Well, hey, since we just got started, if you don't mind me asking, in today's session, what was, did you have anything in specifically that you wanted us to talk about today?
Yeah, I was kind of curious because I drink a lot of caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping we could talk a little bit about that and, ways I might be able to kind of get off of drinking so much of it.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I'm sure you're not alone when, you aren't alone with people who drink a lot of
Yeah.
caffeine. I indulge in some caffeine as well. I
Mhm.
try to limit it to about maybe a cup or two a day. Do you know if you had to say roughly, about how much caffeine you think you'd get on let's say a heavy day of caffeine? What would that look
Every
like?
day. Man, I have a lot, a specific amount I haven't really thought, like those big, 16-ounce cups?
Uh-huh.
I think the
Yeah.
ones for like each, I'll have like two or three of those.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, I guess if we looked at a cup as 8 ounces, maybe about 4 cups a day.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, is that usually spread out, or is it usually, in at a specific time, or when do
I
you
think
tend to usually drink it?
it's more early, sort of like afternoon beforehand, morning to afternoon kind of centered. I
Okay.
don't really have any later in the day though,
Okay. Okay.
thinking
Okay.
about it. Uh-huh.
Well, all right. So from what I'm hearing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm hearing, for the session, it kind of sounds like we want to talk about, we've recognized that, hey, we might drink a little bit more caffeine than what's
Mhm.
necessary, and what are some ways that we might be able to go about
Mhm.
reducing that or kind of helping kind of bring that habit down. Does that kind of sound about right?
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to really take. Yeah, is to
Okay,
try and
okay.
get off of it.
All right. Well, I guess if you had to take home one thing from the session about the caffeine, is there
Mhm.
anything specific that comes to mind, like a takeaway?
Um, Either alternatives to it or ways I can kind of condition myself off of needing so much of it. So it's not so much like I'm drinking it because I need to, I'm drinking it, more because I want to,
For
if that
sure,
makes
for
sense.
sure. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay. Well, I mean, with the caffeine, as you mentioned, you don't do it at night, which is a good thing. But I'm thinking a little bit. I'm kind of curious about maybe you talk about that morning to afternoon. I'm kind of thinking about what are the things maybe that are contributing to the reason we're taking the caffeine. I think most people associate caffeine with, it gives me a boost and it elevates my energy, which is what it does, right? It kind of, gives
Mhm.
people that boost, gives you a little bit more energized, can help you focus.
Yeah.
And so, but maybe if we're taking so much, what are the things that maybe might be causing that? And, I guess one thing that kind of pops up to me is, possibly some sleep. Do you
Mhm.
think there's some nights maybe where the sleep isn't as much as maybe it needs to be, and that might be
Man,
correlates with the days where the caffeine is high?
it's like that's most nights, I would say.
Okay.
busy with so much work getting piled up, especially as we're hitting towards like the middle of the semester, prepping for midterms, and there's assignments that are coming up due, right?
Hmm.
Um, I've definitely stayed up a lot later than I probably should a few nights doing some stuff, and you know, that's probably why. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll wake up and I'll feel like still dead, right? I'm still
Hmm.
super tired.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. And I would say, we talked about with the caffeine and maybe what can we do. There are definitely some changes that we could do now
Mhm.
that are like, for example, we could maybe get more sleep to where we don't have to take as much caffeine. But if sleep doesn't really change that much, but we still want to do something about the caffeine, maybe it is we would just try to restrict it. But, if you've been using it to kind of help give you that energy, that might not be,
Mhm.
something you'd want to do. But is there anything, that you think that you're kind of ready to work on right now? And of those changes, which one seems the most doable for you?
I think um, of those, I would have to say that maybe trying to you drink less of it would be more doable, because those hours that I'm staying up, right?
Hmm.
I think they're pretty essential to getting my work done,
Hmm.
and I have to wake up early every day. So
Gotcha.
I would say
Gotcha.
kind of getting off of it, drinking less.
Okay. Well, um, I think, you know, personally, if we could do a perfect scenario, I'd probably say if we could get more
Mhm.
sleep, that would be probably the best way that we could work towards the caffeine. But, I understand with the schedule, you're busy up late at nights and then you need to wake up early because the day starts off. Totally understand that. So if we kind of want to look at ways that we can plan to maybe not
Mhm.
drink as much, um, some things that we could do to kind of maybe help that could possibly be, you talked about maybe having two 16-ounce ones,
Mhm.
but maybe um, going to where maybe we start to kind of cut back a little bit on that caffeine, because we can build a tolerance to it. So, if
Mhm.
you drinking so much, your body's going to demand more and more and more. Um, but one thing we might could plan to do possibly is maybe if we have a week coming up where you don't have that same busy schedule,
Mhm.
maybe we could kind of weed ourselves off that caffeine during that time a little bit, so that way when we get
Mhm.
back on that schedule that you're on right now, maybe we can introduce smaller amounts of it and we won't have to take as much to feel that boost of
Mhm.
energy. So I mean, I know spring break's going to be coming up here in a couple of weeks. Do you have anything big going on there where it feels like your time's going to be in high demand?
Don't think I do know. We're not going anywhere this year, so I think I should
Okay.
be good to try and do that over that week.
Okay.
Now, um, so for that week, should I just completely stop drinking caffeine or just drink less of it, do you think?
Um, I wouldn't want to say you could go cold turkey off of it because
Mhm.
there could be some side effects like some headaches from it, if especially if you're used to that caffeine and you might feel a little lethargic.
Mhm.
um, I think a plan that we could do is maybe from now even start kind of working on reducing the amount we're taking in leading up to that, and then
Mhm.
almost being able to where by the time we get to spring break we don't take any and we won't feel those negative side effects, and then
Mhm.
that way kind of having a full week to let our body kind of reacclimate or deacclimate it maybe to the caffeine, to where that way when we do reintroduce it we get the like almost
Mhm.
like when introducing it your body, it's maybe a new stimulus, like, well, we haven't had this, and so you do get those positive benefits without having to take so much. So does that kind of sound like a plan that something that you might be willing to follow?
Yeah, I'd definitely be willing to try it. Yeah,
Okay.
something I'd definitely be able to do over the break. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now,
Uh-huh.
is there anything like personally where you're like, I definitely think I can do this. Is there any, when it comes to planning, do you think you have a decent track record with, hey, when I make a plan, I'm able to stick to it, or you find it maybe hard sometimes to stick to planning, or?
I'm pretty good at it. I would say personally, I think I'm pretty good at making something and then sticking with it.
Yeah,
So I think I'll be okay as long as I really like set myself to it,
for sure,
which
for
I'm
sure.
definitely going to do just because, I wanted to drink less of it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And I
mhm,
mean, having, some things that can help too is definitely having a good support system.
mhm,
So, I mean, if you have, especially, maybe the students that you go to class with and everything, you might
yeah.
have some friends who are like on the same boat, maybe. So
Mhm.
I think, possibly talking with them about it, and then helping support each other. Do you think that you have some friends like that that might be willing to, you know, almost go through the
Yeah,
same journey, if not encourage you in your journey?
I definitely think I've got some friends who would encourage me and be supportive of me, drinking less coffee.
Awesome, awesome.
Mhm,
Well, hey, I think what we can do is we can kind of start to put that plan together, and once we have it
mhm,
in place, we can kind of start, we can put it into action, and
mhm,
then we can reevaluate after, like say the week, post spring
mhm.
break, maybe a week after, to see if when we did reintroduce it, we were able to get those benefits that, that we want without having to do so much. Does that kind of
Yeah,
sound like something, that sounds good that we can work towards?
yeah, that sounds good.
All right,
Um,
Miguel. Well,
mhm.
thanks for having the session with me today. I think it was very productive, and hopefully you were able to get some good stuff out of it. And I look forward to the process from here.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. We'll talk to you later.